Anya, today I'm making a dish that is super fast to prep and one where the oven does the rest. This dish is called honey soy chicken. And for something this simple to make, the end result is pretty fantastic. Is it just me? Or am I the only one who focuses on the result? For me, I tend to only look forward to the ending and forget about the beginning and the middle that produce this end. I have difficulty enjoying the process, and I'm not sure why. I think I'm so used to checking off one more thing from my to-do list because it's so satisfying when I do. And efficiency seems to please me. But once the feeling of accomplishment wears off, I feel kind of empty. Another day passes, and the next day comes as if on repeat, and I'm back at square one. The joy has fizzled out, and I'm not as happy as I thought I would be when I finished. I feel like I'm running a sprint instead of a marathon. And the tunnel vision makes it hard to relax. But I want to free my mind from the future and bring it to the now. Maybe if I slow down and take time to feel, to learn, and to wonder, it can create lasting memories that gives me something to look forward to, something I would want to do again. Because focusing only on the end makes the goal so distant and impossible. I may lose motivation, and I may never be satisfied. And when things get hard, it'll be easier to give up. But what if I were to learn to enjoy the journey? Maybe then passion can grow. I ask myself, what are the things you like about what you're doing? And this makes me pay more attention to the details instead of rushing past it. Maybe I can learn to love the challenges that arise, because challenges can open more opportunities. To allow me to adapt and to think differently, to question my plans and to get more creative. And maybe through the ups and downs, I can find joy in the effort. And with the small increments of change, I can measure my progress. Because working through challenges can be tougher than achieving the goal itself. And growth doesn't happen when I achieve the goal. It happens while working towards that goal. And I think I want to celebrate the little milestones. Because maybe it's not just about waiting until I achieve the end goal. Maybe it's about enjoying every step and the moments in between. Because every step matters and every small progress is an achievement. And just maybe, I can end up falling in love with who I'm becoming during this process. Today I'm using the Instant Pot to make a burrito bowl. An easy recipe where you dump a bunch of ingredients into the pot, producing a delicious bowl of goodness. So simple that you won't need to worry about making any mistakes. I wonder why so many of us fear mistakes. Why I fear making mistakes. Sometimes we fear them so much that it prevents us from trying new things. Things that can bring us so much joy. But we never get to know it because we don't try. Is it because mistakes make us feel vulnerable and discouraged? Maybe it starts a vicious cycle of self-criticism. Or is it because we worry what others will think of us? But we need to remember that we are our own worst critic, and that the definition of failure is different for everyone. What if we looked at mistakes as being good, something that we can learn from? Because as humans, we're not perfect, and it's inevitable that errors will be made. But the important part is what we do with it afterwards. What if we focus on the specific behaviors of the mistake, instead of looking at it as a reflection of ourselves? Because we can easily change our behavior, but it's much harder to change who we are. There might even be times when we should apologize, to take responsibility for the mistake made towards another. Because mistakes can give us courage to admit our faults, and it helps us to better understand ourselves. Because when we see what is wrong, we're also able to see what is right. And through trial and error, we discover what works and what doesn't. It can change our perspective and force us to explore alternatives. It can improve our skills and help us to grow. Because whenever we are learning, we can't go wrong. Mistakes can help us share our experiences with others, because others may be inspired when we are courageous. Mistakes help us become more flexible and resilient, because we can't move forward if we stay in the same place. The key is not to pretend a mistake didn't happen, but to remind ourselves that we are more than our mistakes. Maybe through one mistake, we embarrassed ourselves today, but there are so many days when we did better. It can be hard to remember that in the moment because we're too focused on what we did wrong. So instead of focusing only on the failures, let's learn to focus on the good and all the things we've achieved. And the next time you hesitate in fear of making a mistake, ask yourself, What is the worst that can happen? And what are the benefits? Remind yourself that you aren't alone and talk to yourself kindly, just as you would to a close friend. Encourage yourself and know that you are bigger than your mistakes. Be bold and just do it. Can you think of a time where a mistake you made changed you for the better? There is a Vietnamese dish that I crave quite often, a savory rice noodle soup called pho. I'm not an expert at this, but I know that in order to make an authentic pho soup, it would normally take between 6 to 12 hours of simmering to produce the rich and flavorful broth. Today I'll be making a simpler version of pho using my Instant Pot. It will greatly reduce the normal cooking time for this dish. This means that I can have one of my favorite dishes sooner and more often. And for this, I am grateful. What does it mean to be grateful? To me, this means that I'm focusing on the good and being thankful for what I have. Recently, I've been starting my mornings by writing 3 things that I'm thankful for. The big things and the little things. Why is this important to me? Because it starts my day with something positive instead of something negative. It helps balance out my emotions and gives me energy to do things. Because it's so easy to get out of bed and start worrying about the day. It's easier to complain and harder to be positive. Because it helps me to pause and to be in the moment. Instead of only thinking forward into the future. To stay in the present and to reflect on the now. To appreciate the things I usually take for granted. So I try and try again. And it gets easier. Sometimes I write the same things because I can't think of anything else. But that's okay, because at least I'm writing something down. And something is better than nothing. Tomorrow I will think of something new, something else to be thankful for, because there's a lot. I just need to practice finding it, is all. My hope is that if I keep practicing it, it will become a habit, and a habit will become second nature. And then it will trickle down to other areas of my life, where a positive outlook can precede a negative one. It's like training my brain to search for the good instead of the bad. Rewiring it in a sense so that a new route is formed inside my brain. A route that has more scenery and less potholes. It makes me pay attention to the little things and allows me to be more aware when good things happen. Being grateful helps me to feel good, and feeling good is healthy for my mind and for my body. So what about you? See if you can slow down a little today and notice the things around you. What are you grateful for? So until next time, thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.